officially start, and then we can ask questions, okay? All right. So, welcome everybody. It's Tai Chi Tuesday. Uh, it's Essential Day. Okay, so anybody have any questions?
Nope.
All right, I'm taking that as a no. Okay. All right, so today's going to be a very big day. But before we start on the next essential, let's talk about and review what we've already done. Okay. First essential, empty, lively, pushing up, and energetic. What does that mean to you?
Head up,
Head
Well, it
up.
means you're
body
relaxed.
down.
Okay, and what does relaxed mean, Shelly?
Well, that your upper body and all your joints and muscles
Okay, we lost Shelly.
Yeah.
Oh, it was such a great answer too.
It was, wasn't it? Anybody would like to finish her sentence? Oh, there she
And then
is. Okay.
back.
We lost you for a second there, Shelly. So you'll
I
have to
have.
repeat what you said.
Well, okay. So upper body, everything's connected: joints, muscles, tissue, bone, and you're not tight and you're not limp. You're just stretched. And I think, from my perspective, it means you're ready to move any way you need to move.
Hmm. Okay.
Connection
Connection. Okay.
to your upper body.
All right. Anything else?
I
I
like
have
the discussion of being present. It's John, and
Yep.
yeah, just what she was talking about your body being able to respond in any direction or any way.
Okay.
Grounded, flexible in the waist, light in the top.
Okay. All right. So how do we raise our spirit?
Our heads up and our eyes looking at the horizon.
Okay. And how do you know when your chi is sinking?
On
When it's
your
sinking,
breathing on your dantian,
I'm sorry, what, Rebecca?
breathing and your through your dantian.
Okay, so breathing, abdominal breathing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, so we know that empty, lively, pushing up, and energetic means to keep our head lifted as though it's connected to the ceiling. It allows the neck and the spine to straighten. It also allows everything else to suspend and hang down. And then we should feel the yin and yang, the up and down, right? And we should have our bellies breathing naturally, freely. And it also helps to raise our spirit, meaning that we're looking at the horizon, by keeping our head up. So we need to especially be aware of our surroundings. Okay. All right. So we're all on the same page, right? Okay. So next essentials, shoulders and elbows down. What does that mean? Pretty self-explanatory, but what benefit do we get? What's the benefit of keeping your shoulders and elbows down?
the
Your
flow of
joints.
The shoulder.
Go ahead.
Flexibility.
the, the flow of energy can travel more freely through your joints and your tendons.
Okay, Miss Allison, repeat what you said.
Flexibility.
Okay, and what about flexibility? Why do we want flexibility?
Well, our middle body has to stay flexible so that we can move.
Okay, all right, very good. Anything else?
But so I translate that flexibility to being lively. I don't need being responsive, I
Okay.
guess. And if you're doing the first essential correctly, then you're automatically doing this one.
You are so right, Shelley. Good job. Okay. All right. So we know that when we apply the first essential, that it helps us keep our elbows and shoulders down, right? We also know that it helps to keep the upper body relaxed where there's no tension. So if everything's kind of hanging down, then there should not be any tension in the shoulders, right, or the elbows. It also allows us to keep our chi down, our breathing, okay, because we know that by raising the shoulders, it brings the chi up, and then what happens is we lose our flexibility. So good job there, Allison. Okay, all right, so we're good to go on the second essential, correct? Okay, third essential, hold in the chest, sink, we say sink the chest round the back. So what does this essential mean to you?
To keep our shape,
I'm sorry?
keeping our shape, to keep our shape at all times,
To keep our body shape. Okay, all right, good. Mm-hmm. All right. Anything else?
and
The,
help breathing.
Breathing.
the flow of chi. If you
Okay.
if you get back, you don't. It stops the flow of chi.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
The energy that where you can move one when you extend, say, one arm one way, the body can respond in a connected fashion when you're rounded and curved.
Okay. So we can say that holding in the chest, holding in the chest and rounding the back allows us to connect the upper body,
Right,
right? Okay.
right.
All right. So when the chest bone is slightly concaved in, it'll help make the back feel rounded. So we know that we'll get this shape versus this shape, right? Okay. And it also allows us to have our chi sink down, which is good. That means that our stomach is breathing freely. And when our back is open and rounded, the chest will automatically sink and absorb. So if you can imagine like a bow, like a bow and arrow bow, right? And so this helps to connect the elbows and shoulders as well. So how do you know if you have too much of this essential?
When you have a strain in the middle of your back,
Oh, that's a good indication. Okay.
between your shoulder blades,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay. That sounds like it's coming from personal experience,
Your
Mary.
yeah.
head. Your head.
I test it to see.
Yeah. Okay. So Shelley?
Oh, I'm just pointing to it. Does something to your head. Your head comes down if you
Yes. Yes. So then
and
what
you
will
lose.
right. So what happens? We'll lose the first essential, and we know how crucial the first essential is, correct? So must make sure that we're paying attention. And anytime that you go like this, then then other essentials are being broken. So you just have to run into the closet and hide at that point. Okay. All right. So do we have any other questions about this? Okay, Michael. All right, so today we're going to talk about the last essential that has to do with or focuses on and applies to body shape, breathing, abdominal breathing, and syncing our chi for balance and stability. So we're coming to this essential that is uh, uh, sometimes a little bit challenging for people, especially when you're in front of an instructor and they aren't adequately explaining exactly what it means to say, use your waist or relax your waist. Okay, so it's important, especially when trying to understand and apply the 10 essentials, that you get an idea, a good idea, as far as what each essential means, and know that the more you practice, the deeper the meaning is going to become. And without just thinking, okay, I got to lift my head. Okay, so whatever that means, kind of a thing. So we want to make sure that we understand, at least in present time, understand what the essential is asking us to do. And then we just take that essential and work on it, okay? So, relax the waist. All right. The waist is the commander of the whole body. Only after you are able to relax the waist, will the two legs have strength and the lower body is stable. Okay, so that's a big statement right there. The alternation of empty and full all derive from the turning of the waist. So if your empty and full is not clear, then it may be a function of the waist, okay? Hence the saying, the wellspring of destiny lies in the space, the tiny space of the waist, or in the essential it says, tiny interstice of the waist. So in the Chinese thought, the waist tends to be regarded as the lower back rather than the circle girdling the middle of the body. Where there's a lack of strength in your form, you must look for it in the waist and the legs. So Grandmaster Yang Jindua actually said that. He said if a movement doesn't feel right, okay, and I'm using that word feel, okay, because we know that our Tai Chi boils down to what does it feel like, okay? If a movement doesn't feel right, you must first look to your feet. Is your footwork correct? If your footwork is correct, the next place to look is the waist. Okay, so when the chest is absorbed, then the waist can be relaxed. The lower body can sink down. When you don't have a correct body shape, it's because your hips are not folding correctly. Okay, so we'll explore this a little bit more, but you know, if you look at the lower, you know, your lower hip, lower pelvic area, you know, when we bend our knees, we don't want to bend from this middle part. We want to bend a little bit from the forward part. We want to fold here. This gives us that angle, this angle that we need, this one line here. This gives it instead of like this, okay? So so the body shape needs to be correct, and that we need to be able to fold correctly. So when we say tucking the tailbone down, this can create an incorrect body posture. So for example, okay, let's see if we can see it. Okay, some people do it like this. Okay, so by doing it like this, I'm pushing my hips forward. I'm pushing my hips forward, tucking my tailbone in, so that's going to jet my upper body back. Okay, this is not being stacked properly. So we know that making the waist, it's just gently kind of lowering the lower back and then folding a little bit from the front of the hips. Okay, this will give you hopefully the right posture that we need, and will also help to relax your waist. Okay, so I like to tell students that we are working on 3 parts of the body: lower body, upper body, middle body. All right. So we need to differentiate between the 3 areas. Okay. So when it comes to the waist, I like to tell students that our waist acts like our neck. Our upper body is our head. Our shoulders are our hips. Okay? So the waist, so the waist, the neck, allows the head or the shoulders to turn. Okay? To turn without the use of the shoulders. So we're not doing this, because now we're not really using the waist. We're using the whole upper torso. So we need to be able to separate between the middle body, upper body, and lower body. All right? Is everybody with me so far?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any questions so far?
Yes, Nancy, this is Tamara. Just sorry.
Oh, okay, that's all right.
When you were showing the correct posture, right, for the waist, can you get there? I always have trouble with the tucking in your tailbone. Can you get there by the way you push out your knees? Like if you're standing up and then you push those knees, does that give you that feeling of the right?
Okay, so when you say push the knees, Tamara, I'm going to do something like this.
No, that's not what I mean.
Okay.
Just more like yeah, like just what you did there, right? You just push those knees out a little bit, but your upper body didn't really stay in the same spot.
Well, okay. So what I'm doing is, if you think of me standing up against a wall,
Yeah,
and now I'm going to bend my knees. I'm just sliding down that wall. I haven't
Right.
done anything to my waist yet.
right.
So basically, all I'm doing now is just bending my knees. All
Okay,
right. To
right.
get the waist into the proper position, I want you to think of your hips, your lower back, as now just sinking down, and then folding a little bit
I see.
at the hips.
Okay,
Okay.
got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So anytime you guys have a question on anything, ask, because I want to make sure that you guys understand in your mind, and there are no such things in my book as a stupid question. Okay. All questions, if it leads to your becoming more a way to understand what it is that we're talking about better, then yes, that's what we want. Okay.
Nancy,
Yes.
then I would like you to repeat, to repeat what you say to students about the neck of each part.
Okay, I'm sorry. Repeat again, Marion.
Can you repeat then where what the neck is for each part of the body? You said you tell students that
The neck functions the same way our waist does.
oh, right,
It
okay,
allows our head to turn, okay, without the use of the shoulders,
right,
right? Okay.
right,
So the waist functions the same way. Okay.
yes,
So my waist allows my upper body to turn
right,
without the use of my hips.
right,
Yes?
yes.
Okay.
Well, I knew that, but there was just the way it was phrased. I was wondering if I was missing something. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we're good?
I think so.
All right. Anybody else? I'm seeing everybody's head down writing feverishly.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. All right. Anybody else have any questions so far? Okay, that's a no. All right. So, in class, I like to get a chair. And if you want, you can go ahead and get yourself a chair. Dee Dee loves this practical exercise. Yes. All right. So, okay, let me go this way. All right. When you sit in a chair, don't sit in the back of the chair. Kind of come up, kind of far up the chair. So, for me, I need to do that anyway, so that my feet touch the floor. Otherwise, my feet don't touch the floor. Okay. All right. So by sitting, this now puts weight on our hips so that they will more or less stay where they are. So all I want you to do is I want you to think of your sternum, your breastbone, and I want you to turn 45 degrees. Turn, 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 turn. Okay? And you can do like this. If you want, you can swing your arms, okay? Or whatever, but turn, turn, turn. All right, so now we can say you're turning from your waist, okay? If you have a stiff waist, you will move like this. Turn, 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 okay? Just like when we have a stiff neck, when we turn our head, we turn like this, right? Because it feels like it's fused, because it kind of is, because it's stiff, okay? So we need to, and if your range of motion isn't, like cloud hands, 45 degrees, then, we just kind of work at it, and just, every time you're sitting at a table, maybe at least 3 times a day, right? At least twice a day. When you're sitting for a meal, do this exercise. If you feel as though your waist needs to become a little bit more flexible, and even doing this will allow your waist. It's kind of like you know, this is our oil that the Tin Man used to, grease up his joints, right? Okay. So this isolates the waist because now we have weight on our hips. Okay. So if we take the chair away and we stand shoulders width apart and we slide down that wall, keeping the back straight, okay? When we slide down the wall, or even when we're standing up against the wall, you should be able to put your hand between your back here and the wall. But when we then relax the waist, there should be no space, okay? So what I want you to do is, our tailbone, our spine is kind of curved like this, right? It has a natural curve. So I want you to kind of think of your hip now, and I want you to kind of drop it. Drop that hip, all right? So now what will happen is that our spine is now going to be straight. And so now I want you to just turn, okay? By having our spine straighter without the curve will give us a little bit more flexibility, okay? But if you stand up and you don't take that curve out, your range of motion will be a little bit less. But the moment we take that, then it should increase, okay? Because now the waist area is able to move freely, because it's straighter now. The spine is straighter now, okay? How are we doing, everybody?
Good.
Nance, the only thing is making sure that my waist or my lower body stays stable, but I'm not overextending my shoulders thinking I'm moving my waist when I'm only moving my shoulders. Does that make sense? That I'm using my shoulders to twist as opposed to my upper body to whole upper body.
Oh, okay, that's great, Shelley. Yeah, sometimes when I introduce this to new students, then they'll do this.
Well, I'm not that bad.
Well, I'm just saying, they'll kind of jet their shoulder out like this. Okay, see, it's moving. It's moving. All right, we want it to come more from this area,
Yep.
not this area. So it's more this. Okay, that's what the area that we're working with is that neck area, so that it's no longer stiff. So that allows our head to move a little bit more freer, right? Or the waist allows the upper body then to have a bigger range of motion without the use of our hips. Okay, so those of you out there, if you're doing this right now, and you can stand in front of a mirror. Your knees should stay in the fixed forward position, and you should then turn. See how my hips haven't moved? Turn. Hips have not moved. Turn, 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 turn. This is a lot of fun. Don't do too much of this because you can make your waist area initially kind of sore, and I don't want anybody waking up with a sore waist, and then send me an email saying I can't turn. So every time we go to sit in a chair, we are activating this waist. Okay, so from here, when you go to sit in a chair, we kind of push this out. That's the waist, this area right here. So when you push it out to go sit in a chair, now you've straightened your waist, straighten the spine, so that we then can sit. So this is a natural thing that our body does when we are going to sit. For those of you that have taken the class outside of the school, I have pictures I use animal pictures, and the animal picture that I use is a panda, a big panda, all right, sitting in grass, okay, or sitting on the ground, okay, and you can see his back is flat because, yes, there, thanks, Carol. There he is, panda. So, when you go to sit, your spine then becomes straight. And that's the position we want our back, our spine, and our waist to be in. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Yes,
So,
Aaron, that's right. There you
so I
go.
noticed, so Nancy, I noticed,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Marion.
oh, sorry, I thought I was muted. I noticed when I do the movement, either standing straight up or dropping my back, my waist of the area, that's area of my back, it's an extremely different amount of flexibility.
Yeah.
It's actually quite noticeable. So
Yeah.
it certainly
Oh,
makes a difference. I
well,
mean,
that's
it doesn't even feel like there's a reason to move my hips when my back is dropped. It's like, it's just unnecessary,
mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah, this is the time. I'm sorry, go ahead, Pierre.
Yeah, so just a question about what you were saying, and actually went back to the earlier question about, I think it was Shelley, turning the shoulders rather than turning the waist. So I guess the way I think about it is if I take a pencil and I glue a pencil to the center of my sternum, and I glue another pencil to my belly button, and I turn my waist, both of them should be turning.
Yes.
But then the question is how I can't, I can immobilize my hips by sitting down.
Right.
But how do I keep those two pencils from turning at the same rate and not just turning the one that's glued to my sternum?
With practice. Okay. Oftentimes, okay, so when students start to learn Tai Chi, one of the areas that we have to focus on, and for some of you, I want you to recall what it was like in class. We talk a lot about footwork,
Yeah.
right? We talk a lot about footwork because we're not very aware of how we're using our feet and what direction our feet are in and how much weight is in one foot versus the other and things like that. So we talk a lot about that. And so that's kind of a thing that kind of blows people's minds in the beginning. It's like, oh my gosh, okay. The second thing is having to do with the waist. All right, the flexibility of the waist, because sometimes a new student will do what was it Shelley saying? When I'll have them do this in class, their shoulders, they go like this. Even when they're sitting in a chair, Pierre, because their waist is not flexible yet. So they'll do this. So they're pushing the shoulder forward to make it kind of like it's turning. We want this, okay? But when we do this, when you're sitting, it may be a little bit more challenging for hopefully they're going in the same direction. But when you're standing, then you should really see a big difference in how you're turning, okay? But it's often, as an instructor, kind of amusing to see when people start doing this exercise that they think by having their shoulders come up, or forward, that's activating the waist. But it comes eventually, so it's just.
Nance, I think one of your teachers actually told me once, you shouldn't be wrinkling the front of your shirt when you're moving your waist. Because you would be wrinkling it if you used your shoulders.
Well,
does that make sense what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. The issue I may have though is that when we do turn, I may be wrinkling things. You know what I mean? I may be wrinkling things because it's going with how we're moving. Our clothes will
Okay,
flow
the
with us, right?
center of your shirt.
Yeah,
The
okay, so
center
then
of
that's a huge difference. Okay, then all right. So Pierre, okay, Pierre went back to his little icon. Did that answer your question, sir? Okay, good.
So Nancy, regarding the shoulders and the flexibility, the way their shoulders are to be moved with keeping our body posture in all of our movements. So there is never a time when our shoulders are really going to be free to move without being kept in the same position, in the same posture. In other words, like the arm movements that come from that shoulder are always going to be kept in the correct position to have that freedom of connection and flexibility.
Yes, you should still maintain your body shape. You must still maintain your connection. You still must maintain your lifting of your head, elbows and shoulders down, sinking of the chest, a rounding of the back, and then have this waist function.
So you're referring to the shoulder, even the shoulder can move on its own. It has its own flexibility.
Yes.
But we use it, but only in a context of keeping that body shape.
Right, and in Tai Chi we want all joints loose and flexible. So when I'm swinging back, it's we're because the joint here it should be loose, should be flexible.
Right.
Same with the elbow. Okay, so the structure of the torso should stay intact without jutting things forward and back or whatever.
But
Right.
it can move if it's externally acted upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the important things to keep in mind are the essentials and what the essentials are asking us to do, as well as all this other stuff. So it's just that's why Tai Chi is never ending as far as in learning and applying what it is that we're trying to do. But like for instance, when I'm going to like a left knee brush, from here, turning. So I'm not okay, because then now I'm lifting up my shoulder. Okay, so we still need to keep this.
So you turn your body or move it into position in order to attain those reaches.
Yes. All right. So at a recent class with Master Yang, one of the instructors or directors asked a question, which I thought was kind of interesting. When we're in cross hands, are
What?
I know this is hard to say. Are our arms in front of our body? And is it different? You guys try to say that, okay?
I know.
And are our arms different when we're standing up to kick? Cheryl, you're laughing at me. I know because you know that they asked that question. All right.
I know the question, yes.
Yeah. So it's we have a certain way of being, right? Of this, right?
Yeah.
And when we stand up and kick, it's still the same no matter what we're doing because we have this body shape.
Right. I think it's just so easy to forget the body shape when you're concentrating on, say, reaching, like, am I extending my arm enough? Am I not?
Sure.
This, that, and the other.
Sure. It's kind of like that's why the 10th essential is the 10th essential.
Well, I'm thinking about like even like what is it called? The crane? No. Yes. Can't remember the name of it. Where your arm
White crane.
Yeah, when your arm is raised, it's so easy to have your shoulder raised and you've lost your shape, but how do you get how do you actually get your arm up far enough to be above your head and, keep that body shape without raising your shoulders? And it feels artificial to me. It feels like I'm not really keeping the body shape. I'm just, kind of splitting the difference.
Yeah, no, white crane is a really good example as far as the shoulders and the elbows down. Okay, because if we have, maybe I'll go this direction. If we have this body shape, and I go like this, I still have that body shape.
Yeah.
Still have this body shape. All right. So there's a difference between, okay, there's a difference between, can you guys see me?
Yes.
This and this,
Right.
this, this. Okay. So we want the elbow always down, not up. So if this were my white crane spreads and swings, then when I rotate my arm and I go like this is my body shape now. It's behind. So we want this. So you can always check your body shape. You know, you're in push, you go like this. Is this push? You know, here, is this my body shape? Do you have this connection? But
Right.
you know, you're absolutely right, Marion, that in the scheme of things, we may be thinking, okay, I want to relax my waist, and then your footwork is not right. Or, you know, then now you're no longer lifting your head because, you know, you're doing other things. That's just the nature of the beast. That's just it, you know, because when you're focusing on one thing, then the other things start to say, she's not looking. We can do whatever we want now. Okay. So let's see how long we can have our shoulders and elbows up before she notices. You know? So uh, that's why it's recommended that uh, you finish the form, the traditional hand form. There's a progression of study. So if you come to this stuff maybe too soon, it may go way over your head and you may not be able to even apply it because you're so into, you know, thinking about, okay, what's the next movement? Okay, I got to go to white crane and now I got to go to left knee brush. Okay, well, okay, the right arm, you know, so you're thinking about all these other things. There's no room for the 10 essentials. Okay, so that's why it's important that that's one of the reasons why it took me a while to even offer this class to you guys. I offered it for Master Yang when I did the virtual class for him, and we did this over a course of, I don't know, 5 or 6 days or so, an hour at a time. But these essentials, they're called essentials for a reason. It's like, you know, we go to driver training school to learn how to drive. They give us a book, and that book gives us all the rules. All right. Well, how many of those rules are people adhering to when you're driving? Okay. You know, for some of us, we just, you know, drive, right? We aren't thinking about these other things, you know, how far distance we need to be and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And how far in advance you need to start braking when you're going a certain speed. You know, we don't think about those things. But Tai Chi you know, wants us to remember how to do these things because they're very important. And some teachers will say, you know, unless you're doing the 10 essentials, you're not doing Tai Chi. I guess in the perfect world, that may be a true thing, but there are many of us out there that were doing Tai Chi without even knowing anything about these 10 essentials. That doesn't discount the fact that you were doing your Tai Chi, okay? Because that's, you know, benefiting your body. This just takes it to another level, another level. So um, uh, it's I'm here to give you the information in a way in which you can understand it, that in a way in which you can apply it. Then it's up to you. You guys are the ones that are doing the work. I'm just giving you the information. Just like when you come to class and your instructor is teaching you how to do a movement, we're presenting you the information. It's up to you to do what you want with that information. You're either going to practice or you're not. That's up to you. So the 10 essentials is no different. It's just, I think it's just, um, well, you know, Tai Chi is challenging, period. And now you have the 10 essentials, you know, so it just takes it to a different level. You with me, Marion?
Yes. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, so we can all relax our waist, right? We all know what that is?
Yes.
You all know how to do it?
With the chest, yeah.
Okay. All right, so let's practice a little bit on how to relax our waist. Okay, so first thing I want you to do is get into your hug a tree position. Hug your tree, okay? Um, get your hug a tree, and then slide down that wall just a little bit, okay? And now I want you to just think of dropping your hips down. Just relax it a little bit. Just drop it down like you're going to go sit in a chair. Then the front of the hips, I want you to fold a little bit forward. Make sure you're still able to breathe freely. Okay? All right? And, you know, make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. This is also really important. Feet should be flat on the floor. Okay, then turn 45 degrees. Come back to center. Turn. Come back to center. All right. When you turn, are your knees still in the fixed forward position? Okay. And try not to. Okay, so everybody go ahead and relax. All right. When I say turn, not that anybody was doing this, I'm just doing this as a precautionary thing. When I say turn, turn 45 degrees. Don't turn like this. This is way too far. This is way too far. Don't go more than 45 degrees, okay? So, think of your chest bone and think of doing cloud hands. Turn. Come back to center. 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 Now what I want us to do is I want us to go more than 45 degrees. I want you to see what that feels like. Turn. Go more than 45 degrees. Okay? I start to get a little uncomfortable here. Come back to center. Turn more than 45 degrees. Come back to center. Notice any difference?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? It's also going to affect your breathing. Okay. Anybody have any questions?
It feels like it feels like a real strain
It does.
to do that. It pulls through, your hip, your back, your leg, everything, and it tightens it all up.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Marion. All right, so let's work on movements in the form. Let's start from the beginning, and let's go up to grasping the bird's tail. All right. So at prepare, making sure that head is lifted, making sure that we've got that weight on the middle finger, pulling our hand down slightly. All right. Eyes looking forward. All right. Go to opening. Rotate and lift to shoulder height. Once to shoulder height, elbows turn down a little bit, and arms pressing down, upper arm, forearm, then our palms. Almost at the bottom, go to ward off left. Shift left, turn to the right. Whole body's turning. Now, when you sit and turn back, this is a function of the waist. Arms closed, step. As you move forward, left knee must stay moving in the forward position. Waist turns to the right. So now our upper body is now more towards the corner. Left fingers should be pointing to the 3 o'clock direction. Front knee should be in line with front foot. Back to center. Turn to the right. Shift to the left, turning that upper body, closing the arms, and step. Then we go to ward off right. Okay, keep your hips forward. Don't move that right knee. Turn your upper body, rotate 45 degrees. Then shift back. Now we can sit back and turn a little bit more. Press, using the waist, turning back, press forward. Separate the arms to shoulders width. Shift back, roll over a ball in front of the chest, and push. How is that, everybody? Okay? Yes?
Yes.
Anybody have any questions on this? All right. So now we're going to go a little bit deeper now. You're welcome. Okay. There are 3 ways our waist move in Tai Chi. Okay. The first one is, okay, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Okay. It's not so much forward and back, forward and back. It's the middle body, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Okay?
Laosha, when you do that, does your pelvis move?
That's a good question, Pierre. Let me think.
Yes.
Yes, a little bit.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'm not sure what is moving exactly.
Okay. I want you to think of your stomach.
Okay.
Okay? Think of your stomach pushing out and pushing back. Out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in.
It's like cat cow
What is that?
yoga.
Oh, it's like yoga, Michael says.
Cat
Cat,
cow.
cow in yoga. Is that right, Cheryl?
That's correct. Yeah, but you're on your hands and knees and you tilt your pelvis up and let your spine relax, and then you curl your back and your chest rounds like a cat.
Okay.
I have something funny I used to say in terms of this.
Go ahead.
I used to tell the guys to stick their junk out, and that's how they actually understood it.
Okay.
It would make everyone laugh too.
Okay, so we have forward and back, forward and back, forward and back. Okay, think of your belly button or your stomach pushing out and then coming in. Forward, back, okay? Now, then we have another direction. We have side, side, side to side, side to side, side to side, side to side, 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 side. Okay? I'm sorry,
Okay.
Shelley.
Yeah, I'm sorry to ask this, but now which muscles? I mean, I'm not quite sure what you're doing when
Okay.
you're doing side to side either.
So I want you to think of your rib cage. Think of your rib cage going to the right. Think of it going to the left. Right, left. Okay, right, left. I'll go your side. Right and left. Right and left. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yes? Anybody's waist getting tired?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that means this is working. Okay. Just don't do too much. If you need to take a break, okay? Tai Chi's not about who wins the race. It's about winning the race, so we want to be the tortoise, not the hare, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And can I ask a question? It's John.
Hi, John.
How much energy we are, reaching down into gravity, into the earth, and how stabilized that should be? Should we feel kind of muscle to bone almost so that we can feel our pelvis area? It seems to me that to keep moving that way, that my legs are really energized. Stable.
Oh.
Sense.
Okay. Remember it said here, only after you are able to relax the waist will the 2 legs have strength and the lower body is stable.
Yeah.
Make sense, John?
Mm.
Yes. Yes, your legs should feel heavier. Okay? More stable.
Okay.
More stable, yes. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. We know the side to side now, right? We go forward, back, left, right, right? Okay, now we have what we call mixed, or we say the figure 8. So, when we do parry, block, and punch, parry, 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 parry. So it's like making an infinity sign, a sideways infinity sign. Make sure your hips stay forward. Our knees are still in the fixed forward position when we do this. Okay? So what movements do we use for this? Back, turn, turn, turning back, turn back, figure 8, okay? Here, all right, then from here, figure 8, turn, 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 turning this way, then turning back, turn back. Then from here, turn back, turn back. So there are a lot of places we use this mixed method for our waist, okay? Um, so, single whip, we're turning back. So just kind of pay attention when you're doing your Tai Chi movements, and you can mark down what you think the waist direction is going. Is it going forward and back? We know that movements like push, back, forward, 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 okay? Side to side. Well, we can say cloud hands initially is side to side, then it goes into mixed because we are grabbing and pulling. When you grab and pull, we go that direction, okay? So this essential is very challenging to get everything that you need to get out of it, okay? So we want to remember that we need to slide down that wall, okay? We still have that curve in the spine, so take your hips and just drop them down, drop it down. So some women will say, do a little pelvic tilt here, okay, to get the spine now straight. You can stand up against a wall to try this, and you'll notice that there's a big difference between when you've activated your waist and now your spine is straight, because your hand there won't be space there, okay? And then just turn, okay? And then you can do forward and back, side to side, and then mixed. And you can make these, okay, you start off big and then start making it small, okay? Because you know that we have big and we also have small, okay? So this turn here after rollback is a small turn. But everywhere we're going to have circles. So we know that it's not just here and then straight across. We know that there's this little curve here. So that's from the function of the waist, and the arms will then follow.
So Nancy, I have a question about that turning of the waist. So like say in rollback, we're just experimenting here, and yes, my waist is turning, but I'm feeling like I'm twisting my middle back to make that roll back. So does that mean that I'm not using the waist enough?
It can mean a few things, Marion. It can mean you're turning too far. Did it give you this similar feeling when you turn too far? Okay. When you go to roll back, are you turning too far? Because you should go from your shoulders being kind of towards the corner to your shoulders now being straight, and our arms can go about 45 degrees from that. Now when we sit back, this is actually our good side, we can actually go a little bit further, but we should still maintain that the feet are still planted on the floor, and we've got our body shape, keeping the head up, keeping the shoulders, elbows down, and making sure that that waist is relaxed.
So when you make any turn in Tai Chi, you should only feel it in the waist, not say between your shoulder blades or one shoulder blade, not the other, that kind of thing. You kind of know if you're really using your body properly.
You will know. I've had some students, and they'll do single whip like this. They'll go like this, and then they'll turn. They'll turn. They'll go past the straight direction, and they'll turn like this. This is way too far. All right. So one of the things that Tai Chi asks us to do is to listen to our bodies. Are you listening to your body when you go to roll back? And I'm going to exaggerate here. When you go to roll back, how is the body feeling? Here my right side is really tense, okay? versus if I go to roll back like this, everything feels just very nice and comfortable.
So when you do that rollback position, you are going to the 45-degree angle with your waist and your arms. So that means your shoulders are also turned toward that corner, correct?
No, the shoulders will stay to the forward position. My shoulders should be square forward. My arms can then reach 45 degrees from that.
Okay,
So I would not be like this.
I'm probably turning them a little bit.
This is overturning, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So the first thing I would say is, are you overturning? Okay. So check on that first, Marion.
Well, I'm just wondering, what else am I overdoing?
Well, you know, sometimes people lose their body shape. You
Right.
know, they're able to turn because now their body shape's not right. Well, do you have this? Okay. Are your feet firmly on the floor? Okay, remember, the first place to look is in the feet. If your feet are right, then you must look to the waist.
Right.
Okay.
Another question, thinking about the figure eight and the mixed. So you were saying, you know, we have the horizontal, this one, the horizontal. We have forward, back, and we have side to side. When I see you doing it, it combines all three of them. But I can just about do a figure eight in the horizontal plane without turning my shoulders. Is that right?
Sure, you can do that.
Okay.
You can do that. I mean, and there, okay, there's this. Okay, there's this. Then there's this. How much is my shoulders, are my shoulders turning? We can still do it, but it's smaller. Absolutely, Pierre. So parry, block, and punch. Big, big turn, big turn. Okay? So, you know, you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. You should be able to do both. And there's another thing Master Yang will say, yin and yang. Okay? How do you know what's bigger and how do you know what's smaller? You first have to know what big is, then you have to know what small is. Because then you know, okay, I've gone too far. This is too far. Oh, this is just right. Okay? So you have to know what is bigger and what is bigger than bigger versus what is small and what is smaller than small. You know what I mean? So there are degrees that you have to really kind of take into consideration as your body is turning. All right? So the middle body, they say, is the commander. So it tells the rest of the upper body what direction it wants it to go. So it's like the steering wheel of our car. The steering wheel of our car then tells the wheels, you know, we want to go straight, we want to turn, we want to just veer here, follow the curve or whatever. So this is the commander of our vehicle. It's telling us what direction we want our vehicle to go as it pertains to, you know, what we're doing in the form. Okay? How are we doing, everybody?
Good.
Isn't this juicy? It's really juicy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning a lot that can like improve my Tai Chi.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, Marion.
Yeah,
Okay?
yeah.
All right, so what I want us to do is I want us to do the first section. And I want you to just think about relaxing your waist. All right? That means upper body turning, body shape. All right? Feet firmly on the floor, breathing naturally, right? Okay? So let's try that. All right, so let's go to prepare. Keep your head up, look at your surroundings, then go to opening. Grasping the bird's tail. Ward off, left. Make sure you've got your body shape. Ward off right. Using the waist, turn for roll back. Using the waist, press. Push. Now we go back and forward. Single whip, back, turn. Here's our figure 8, back, single whip. Raise hands, step forward. Remember, we've got a little waist turn here as we turn slightly to the left. White crane, rotating, circle, step. White crane spreads its wings. Is that right elbow down, left knee brush? Hand strums the lute. Left knee brush, circle back, swing, step, brush knee and push. Right knee brush and push, back and turn. Circle back, swing, step, brush knee, push. Left knee brush, back and turn. Circle back, swing, step, brush knee and push. Hand strums the lute, turning. Keep your body open. Hand strums the lute. Rotate, circle back. Swing step for left knee brush and push. All right, figure 8, back, turn, parry, step, parry, block, turning to the right, punch, turning back, squaring the shoulders forward. Apparent closing up, turn slightly to the left. Passing palm, turning to the right, turn back, push. Cross hands. Closing. And finish. How's that, everybody? How's everybody doing? Okay?
Lots of concentration.
Okay.
I felt like my lower body was like lead moving all over the floor.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. We
Yeah.
want the lower body heavy. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions? All right. So we've worked on the 4 essentials that has to do with adjusting our body shape, so that we can have natural breathing, sinking the chi, and when you apply and incorporate these 4 essentials correctly, it's going to help to give you the feeling of being more stable and balanced. All right. So when you're doing your daily practice between now and next week, think about the 4 essentials. Pick one. Pick one of the ones that we've worked on so far, okay? We've worked on relax the waist, so that seems appropriate. Or you pick whatever one you want, but work on one. And when you get to the feeling of I've got this one, all right, then pick another one, and then you'll pick another one. Okay, so you just go down the list. Then the next objective is pick 2. Then try doing those 2. Then you go down the list, okay, and so forth and so on, okay, to the point now where then eventually all 10 will be activated as you're doing your form, okay, but you know that'll take time. Anyway, next week we're going to start working on more about energy, okay, if there are no other questions, we'll go ahead and close class. Any questions? No? Okay, we'll go ahead and close class. Thank you very much for joining me today. And go forth and relax your waists.
Thank you,
Thank
Nancy.
you.
That
Thank
was a great
you.
class.
Thank you,
Thank
Nancy.
you.
Good.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Relax your
Thanks,
waist.
Nancy.
Thank you.